Now today we're going to be diving into the world of powerlifting. Now Brendon has just completed a bodybuilding competition, haven't you? Yeah, because that's why you're flexing your muscles, because you did one, right? So he just completed a powerlifting comp, and in this powerlifting comp, he completed a total of 500 kilos. Now, the reason why we want to talk about it is because people wanted to know what it took mentally, physically, what the training looked like, what the eating looked like, what the mindset was like around this type of sport. And it's a very interesting sport, especially when you go and watch one of these things. Yes, it was a novice comp, but all things aside, it was a very interesting environment to be around because everyone is supporting everyone in that environment.
Yeah.
What was it like, waking up and driving there and knowing that you had a weigh-in as your very first thing to do before powerlifting comp?
I had this mindset. I woke up in the morning and I knew that I had that powerlifting comp that day. I knew that I had to do the 500 kilos and I was like, it's either kill or be killed.
That was your mentality?
It was.
Wow.
So that was a mindset, right? But then the moment I stepped foot into that gym, into that competition, and I met the people that I was competing against, I was like, wow. For some reason, these guys are actually lifting you up, praising you, trying to help you, G'ing you up whenever you do a lift. And I was like, this is definitely not what I expected. I expected some competition, like snaky bullshit, the same thing you expect on a soccer field.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest here. Like I 2-foot guys on the soccer pitch sometimes for fun. Mm-hmm. I expected the same thing in this sport, but it was completely opposite. It was
Let's peel it back a bit, because it was all out of the blue. You've been saying for many years now that you've wanted to do a powerlifting comp. What was the key point in your week that you decided to jump online, book it, walk out of the room and say, I booked myself a powerlifting composition. Are you going to help me? What went through your bloody head? Because it was the most random, spontaneous thing ever, but you committed to it.
Okay, so 6 weeks before the competition, I was falling a little bit off track with my training. And that's obviously one of the biggest key things as to why I entered it. Because I was training for all these years. I wouldn't say I was specifically training for a competition per se, but I was doing the deadlifts, I was doing the squats, and I was doing the bench. So I was like, okay, I've got a pretty solid foundation and pretty solid base in those 3 main lifts, which is what you do in a powerlifting comp. And then I was like, I haven't had a specific goal with a time and a measurable focus. So I said to myself, you know what, let's just aim to lift 500 kilos. By the way, I just came up with that number out of thin air. I just thought of it and thought it would be cool.
Did you really? No. You were lifting that before. You hit a 500 kilo total.
I did.
So yeah, it didn't come out of thin air. It
didn't come out of thin air. I was lifting that. I had lifted 500 kilos before, just from training, in general training. But then I wanted to lift 500 kilos on the stage. And that was me cutting down 7 kilos to get there.
Yeah, so explain that to the people that don't understand, like what powerlifting is and what you had to do in order to get into the weight class that you were in.
So it's a strength-based sport. You have the 3 main lifts. So you've got the barbell back squat, you've got the barbell bench press, and you've got the barbell deadlift. So those are 3 big lifts that you're doing. They're all full body movements. But in essence, what happens is you'd be competing against other people of the same gender and the same weight as you, which is very important to understand because, and also age as well. You're not going to have 20-year-old men against 70-year-old men.
No, that would be silly.
that would be silly. Due to the rate of muscle loss, which is 1% a year.
Yes.
From 30 years old.
Yes.
So
from Dr. DB's study the other week.
Yes, Dr. DB PT. So when you're going through that stage, there's different weight classes, and I was right in the middle. So I was weighing it at 89.9 when I decided to enter this competition. I had a choice when I was doing the inquiry form. I was either going to compete at the 93 category or at the 83 category. Then I looked at the calendar and I was like, okay, I've got exactly 5.5 weeks or 6 weeks, whatever it was at the time.
Can you guess what he did? Can you? Instead of putting on weight,
I decided to lose
he
weight.
decided to lose weight.
Yep. So I had to lose 7 kilos in total. And I had a timeline of less than 6 weeks to do it, whilst also maintaining my strength of 500 kilos for this competition. So I knew I had set myself a very impossible task. And yeah, that's when, I filled in details, put the 83, knew in my head that I wanted to hit 500, went to the front desk and I said to Rhiannon, hey mate, might need some help here. I just entered myself a powerlifting comp. What was your reaction, by the way?
I wasn't surprised that you walked out saying something spontaneous like that. But at the same time, I was. Because you've been saying it for the past 2 years that you wanted to be a hybrid athlete. I want to I want to get to 10% body fat. You said it on a podcast actually.
I did.
You want to lose 10% body fat. You want to enter a powerlifting company. You want to do a half marathon, or a full marathon was actually the goal.
Full marathon was the goal.
And so,
All before my birthday.
all before your birthday, yes. So I mean,
Which
you
was-
got
which was 2 days ago.
One of the three.
Yeah. No, 2 of the 3. Oh, no.
Well,
you're
no,
right.
technically.
Okay, so when did I set that target? Was it December last year or something?
So it was the back end of the year, and we set ourselves some 2026 targets. Sorry to deviate. Anyway.
Yes.
Sorry to deviate. So we set those tasks for the 2026. Your goal was to get to 10% body fat, was to do a powerlifting comp. You didn't have any total in mind. You just wanted to enter one. And the other one was doing a full marathon.
Yes, before my birthday.
Before your birthday, correct.
Yes,
And
that's right.
in the time that was all said and done, yes, you have completed one of the 3,
Which was enter the powerlifting comp.
which was enter the powerlifting comp.
I got down to 14% body fat, so I was off by 4. And what was the last one? I entered a half marathon, not a full.
Now
I got pretty close.
you weren't too far off, but that was my reaction. My reaction was essentially like, okay, good luck. I'll support you, but good luck. It's going to be a big feat because your target is to lose 7 kilos of weight while maintaining a 500 kilo total. In anyone's mind, you're thinking you're losing 7 kilos of weight. You're not going to be able to lift what you were lifting before, knowing that you're padded and fully prepped muscle wise for that 500 kilos before, and you actually hit 510 when you were at around that 89 kilo mark.
Yes.
You hit around 510.
So my strength did go down a little bit.
It went down by 10 kilos, but those 10 kilos would have maybe put you second. No, the guy hit 235. He did really well.
Yeah.
Anyway, you still would have been third. But anyway, third is still good for your first comp. And there was other people in your weight class as well. I think it was a very humbling experience because you realize that there are people built for the sport. There are people that are entering the sport not knowing what it's about. And then you've got someone like yourself who's in that middle ground that is like you train for youth, for strength, for power. And you performed at the highest, well, in your head, the highest level, entering on a stage. So I think it's a good feat. I think there's a lot of, for the people watching, I think a question that they would like to know is like, what was your mental fortitude like? How was it? Was it harder doing the physical side of the training, or was it harder mentally getting to that, 7 kilo weight loss? And then also...
No, to me it was pretty breezy. It was probably only the last week where I was stressed. No, well, last 2 weeks actually. The last 2 weeks I was pretty stressed because I still had, I think, 3 to 5 kilos to lose. No, 3 to 4 kilos to lose in the last 2 weeks. And I was like, losing 4 kilos in 2 weeks is a very aggressive deficit. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew that I was just going to jump in the sauna quite a few times, and that was the way that I was going to essentially lose the weight. I was going to go for more of a water weight cut rather than trying to lose weight in terms of fat because I only had 2 weeks left. So I was hitting around 10 to 15,000 steps a day. I was hitting the sauna pretty much every other day in those last 2 weeks. And yeah, the weight kind of just fell off. The issue that I was facing was in those 2 weeks when I was training, I was feeling so flat. I had no energy. I was completely gone. I was scared because I felt like I wasn't going to lift anything in the competition. And I was like, you know what, I'm not eating anything that I should be eating. Like if I was actually preparing for a powerlifting comp, I'd be having double the amount of food that I'm having right now. And I was eating like a little bird, like I was preparing for a bodybuilding show. And yeah, I was jumping in the sauna and walking every day to kind of like supplement that extra fat loss or extra weight loss that I could kind of achieve so I can get under. But then, you know, come the day, I guess I had all this adrenaline there and I lost all the weight. So I was pumped up on the fact that I had made the cut. I went for my weigh-in at 7 a.m. So I obviously made the cut and I was under by 250 grams, which was pretty sick. That was a good feeling. And I guess because I was so high on life at the time, it allowed me to actually really push those numbers and actually push myself and achieve what I wanted.
I think a lot of people underestimate what it takes to actually set goals and what it actually takes to achieve them as well. Because you setting yourself a goal, and we talk about this with our clients all the time, and you setting a goal, it's not just about setting that goal, it's about actually achieving it, saying what you're going to be doing and following through with it, right? And we encounter this every single day with the clients that we have and the goals that they set. Do you think with your experience in powerlifting, the one comp that you've done, did it affect the time that you could put into work, social life, you?
Nah, I was pretty well balanced.
And how did you balance that? Because a lot of people that set a goal like that, like for instance, when I did the bodybuilding comp, putting time aside for the prep, for the training, all that stuff was obviously taking away from, you know, family time, work, social life. I had to restrict myself. That's probably what a lot of people face when they do set themselves a goal. So what was it that made you, how did you balance that?
That's a tough one. And my best answer to that is you have to really, really, really want it. And because I really wanted it and I had this thing in my head that I really wanted to achieve this feat of entering a competition and lifting 500 kilos and just achieving that. And I had the timeline, I had the date, it was written down in my head. I knew the deadlines, I knew everything I had to do to get there. The thing is, I had a map or a roadmap kind of planned out. And I knew that if I fell off that roadmap, it was going to make the day harder for me. You know, if I deviated off the plan too long, then I might have to spend a few extra hours in the sauna on the last week. Or I'd have to do 20,000 steps in the last week instead of the 10 to 15 that I was doing.
Yeah.
So that was what I guess got me through those weeks. Yeah. So I was like, okay, you know, don't have that extra piece of chocolate.
Yeah.
Still enjoy it.
Yep.
And have the chocolate. Just don't indulge, because if you're indulging, just know the repercussions of indulging being that you're pushing the date further.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want that.
Yeah. I think, yeah, as you mentioned, it's a conversation that you have with yourself at the end of the day when you set those goals in the very beginning. You have to know whether you want it or you're just going to cruise towards it. And that's, I believe I've faced that in the past. You've probably faced that in the past as well, where you've set those goals, you've set those achievements, those targets, and you don't achieve them because you obviously have other things occupying you. Life, family time, social life, work, all those things overcrowd what your essential goal was.
No, you can still do it.
But if you want it more, if you want it enough,
then you'll make it
then
work.
You will make it work, and you'll see that as the forefront or the driver of your car.
Yeah.
And that will be what obviously pushes you to achieve those goals.
I just think that if you're not able to achieve your goal, even with the busyness of life, because everyone has a busy life. I don't care who's watching this podcast. Everyone has a busy life. Don't think that your life is busier than other people's, because, you know, we've probably met 100 people in our life that we would consider busy people that are able to achieve big things.
Well, we've spoken to
heaps of them on the podcast as an
50
example.
plus people that have been entrepreneurs and running their own business.
And those guys work. We had someone on that works 16-hour days.
Yeah, there you go. So
as an example. So if you're going to sit here and tell me that, you know, you have a very busy life, this person that works 16-hour days still has a family, has kids, is able to run 2 successful businesses, and is able to socialize with his friends on the weekend and still go to weddings and everything like that. Please tell me that you're busier than that and still able to train and still able to look after your health. And this guy was jacked too. So anyways, off the point, I just said before on this podcast that I set myself 3 targets at the start of the year. By May 4th, I wanted to run a full marathon, achieve 10% body fat, and do a 500 kilo total. I've got it written in my journal. Now, out of those 3 goals, I achieved the 500 total. I ran a half marathon, not a full, so I failed that one. And I got to 14% body fat, not 10%. So the way I would explain that is I obviously didn't want those 2 hard enough as much as I wanted the 500. So if I'm coaching someone, I would say...
You can't set 3 goals. You can set 3 targets.
You can set 3 targets, yeah. But obviously you need to find out which one are you willing to give up things for. Sacrifice for. And that's the one that you should be going for first.
I think.
Then the other ones can come in later if you really want.
To sum everything up, I think the main stage of a powerlifting comp and the main stage of a bodybuilding comp is the reason as to why we wanted it so much was because it was on show. It was to show that we had done the work. We did the thing. We were doing it. But anyway, apart from all that, I wanted to dive into a little bit about what it actually taught you about yourself. What achieving what you said you were going to do taught you?
It taught me. You know what? This is actually what it taught me. And this might sound loud, but it really taught me that no matter who I meet, I don't care who you are, weight loss is a maths equation.
If that's what it taught you, you heard it here first, guys. Weight loss is a maths equation. So for anyone out there that wants to achieve a goal, it's just a maths equation.
It's just seriously, but like, okay, whatever your goal, whatever the your goal is, right? Just picture it in your head. You know, 10 kilo weight loss, 500 kilo powerlifting total, 10% body fat, whatever number thing it is. Make sure it's measurable and those numbers are measurable, right? Then all you have to do is peel it back.
Yes.
500 kilo total. I'll explain with the powerlifting one then. The 500 kilo total. Okay, it's 500 divided by 3 lifts. Find out what you can do now and see what you can do to improve it. Okay, let's say you can only do 100 kilo squat, 100 kilo deadlift, 100 kilo bench.
Yep.
Which exercise out of the 3 do you love the most? You love the bench press the most? Okay, that means you're going to be able to do it more often. Okay, let's try and increase the numbers there and see what you can get from the other 2. That's how you peel back the layers and build up. Weight loss, right? Set yourself a target, 10 kilos. Let's say that's a number. Find an amount of a deficit that you can realistically achieve for an extended period of time for you to achieve it. And just lock in. Track those calories. Put them in MyFitnessPal. Put them in the Dynamic Recover app, whatever you're using right now to track. And if you do it and you actually do it honestly, there's no doubt that you will get there. It's a matter of discipline and wanting that thing.
I think that's a very powerful message that you say there, and I think a lot of people can resonate with you because yes, life and weight loss is a maths equation. When it comes to the nitty gritty of stuff, when you go to a coach, when you go to any sort of elite athlete coach or someone like that, they track metrics, they track data. Those are the facts. You can't fake the facts because it's actually happened. That's the reason as to why you've gained the weight or lost the weight or done 1.25 kilos more or lost 1.25 kilos on that lift. So yes, it does come down to all that. I think the main thing as well from my point of view, from what you went through, was the humbling experience it put you through. It kind of set you back a bit and was like, it was a bit of a revelation moment. Like, wow, that was a lot harder than I actually anticipated it to be, while losing the weight, while trying to maintain the 500 kilos, while running a busy gym, while also having a social life. Like it was just an accumulation of all these things that you maintained and managed because it was at the forefront of your mind and you had that goal of achieving it. So you had nothing standing in your way. What advice would you give to someone, or here's actually a better question instead of advice. Do you think that people need to go through hard shit in order to realize what they can and can't do?
Yes.
Why?
No doubt.
Why? Just said no doubt. Like, why? Why do you think people need to go through the hard shit?
I feel like if you haven't gone through something hard in your life before, then you've learned nothing. I feel like you have to go through tough times to know what it's like to go through hard shit and what it's like if you actually achieve those things as well.
And see where your limits are. See what you can actually push.
Test your limits, yeah.
Test your limits.
Not only physically, but mentally too. Because if you're not trying to really push yourself outside your comfort zone, I don't think you'll ever grow or ever develop into a better, bigger, more solid unit.
And I think strength isn't built like strength or mental fortitude, those type of like strength of the mind and strength of the body isn't built through motivation. It's built through the days that you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's built through the days that, the discipline. It's built through the days that you wake up and you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, far out, another day. It's like, no, you have the great opportunity to wake up and go on about your day. Make the freaking most of it.
And train hard.
Train hard. That's the message that we're putting out there today. And that's
train hard.
That's what Brendon got from his powerlifting comp. So if you do have any questions or you want to enter a powerlifting comp, your man's here.
I'll be calling you to train hard. And remember that powerlifting is just a maths equation.
Just clip Brendon saying train harder and just play that as your alarm clock in the morning.
Train hard!
There we go. That's going to be your alarm clock in the morning. We'll see you guys in the next one. That was a nice little short one. But next we'll be talking about my powerlifting comp.
Did you do a powerlifting comp?
Yeah, I did.
What was your total?
In my undies. My total was 74.5 kilos.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, we'll be talking about my journey going through a bodybuilding show and what that sort of took, but that'll be in next week's episode. So make sure that you stick around and follow, like, and subscribe.
That's in the closing credits.
No, that's the new one.
Oh.
Yeah, so now we're rolling it out live with them.
We're live in it.
Yeah, none of this. And guys, thank you very much. And see you in the next one. Ciao. No, tell the people now. What do you want to say to them before they go?
Like, subscribe, and train hard.
Oh, that's the... Thanks, guys.